If you want to build your online presence across all social media platforms available, then you will love this episode. This one has been highly requested and I'm super excited to finally spill the tea. I will share with you my strategy to turn one piece of content into 7. So if you are ready to expand your reach and build your audience on social media, keep watching. Hi, and welcome to this new episode of Her Online Business Podcast, the podcast for ambitious expat girl bosses and digital nomads. My name is Adama, I'm your host, and my mission is to help you build a business that serves your life, not the other way around, have more freedom, work smarter, while making a positive impact. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of this very simple strategy, and I will share with you the 5 steps that I follow in order to be able to repurpose one piece of content into 7. So let's jump right into it. Step 1, you have to choose one main content format that you are going to repurpose after. So here I would suggest you to use a long form of content because it will be easier for you to repurpose it into smaller pieces of content. So basically the 3 main long format content that you will find are blog posts or articles, video format, and podcast. For the video format, if you are not comfortable yet recording your videos and then editing them, you can simply go live and prepare some bullet points for the topic that you are going to talk about, right? It might be easier for you to do it spontaneously. When I started my business, I was doing only live videos. It's only recently that I started to build this YouTube channel. So you don't have to start with that. If it is too overwhelming for you in terms of editing and you don't feel very natural, then just go live and share your expertise that way. Another important thing regarding this first step is to have a schedule. I would suggest you, if you are just starting out, to have a weekly schedule. So basically posting this one long format content once a week at least. So whether it is a video on YouTube or a weekly podcast or a blog post, I highly encourage you to get into the habit of posting this long format of content once a week if you are serious about building your audience. This is definitely doable, trust me, because it means that you only have to create 4 main long format content a month. And with the repurposing strategy that I'm sharing with you today, you won't have to spend a lot more time creating content apart from this long format. Step 2, choose the main social media platforms on which you are going to repurpose your content. And they have to make sense with your outreach strategy and target audience. So depending on your niche and industry, your audience might be on LinkedIn but not on TikTok, or on TikTok but not on YouTube, and so on. So make sure that you are clear on your target audience and then figure out where you can actually hang out to find them. Step 3, spend some time to understand the social media platforms that you picked and their culture. As you probably know, the culture on LinkedIn is not the same as the one that you will find on Instagram or TikTok. So the way you are wording your captions and addressing your audience will be completely different depending on the platform, right? So that's why repurposing isn't only about copy pasting the content that you created on all the social media platforms. It basically takes a little bit more of thinking because you have to adapt the captions and your messaging to each specific platform. So it's important that before you even start repurposing your content, you spend some time to understand how you can talk on this social media. So follow some pages in your industry and figure out what you find interesting in their content and highlight the elements that make their content more engaging and stand out from the competition. Step 4, once you did your research, create your own copywriting recipe. If you don't know what copywriting is, it's basically the art of writing anything that you can find on the internet. So whether it is a caption, an ad campaign, a blog post, basically any content that is written needs some copywriting. And your copywriting recipe should incorporate your brand, your voice, and your personality. And know that you will evolve and also get better at it. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. The important is to try different things and figure out what is working for you. One point that I want to highlight regarding your copywriting recipe strategy is that you have to keep the same kind of framework or structure within your content. That way, it will be easier for you to manage and create this content. And also, it helps capture your audience attention when you have a clear journey that you are taking them through with your content. So from step A, where they didn't know anything about the topic that you are addressing, to step B, they know a little bit more about it and now they are more curious and willing to start following you. Step 5, delegate or build some content creation blocks within your schedule. If you choose to create your own content, you have to evaluate how long it will take you to record, film, or write your 7 pieces of content. So for example, let's say you want to be on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, and your long form content is a podcast. You might take 1 hour to record 1 episode of your podcast. Then you can transcribe it using an online transcribing tool. So it takes just a couple of minutes because it's automatic. And then you can use this transcript to write your different captions for Instagram and TikTok. Besides, you can repurpose parts of your video as Reels and TikTok so that you don't have to film new videos. And this is actually the exact strategy that I use. So if I recap, I have one main long form content, which is my podcast, which I have as an audio and video format. Then I extract 3 clips from the video and repurpose them as Reels and TikToks. Then I create 1 carousel for Instagram based on the topic of the video. Then I have 1 single post for Instagram also regarding the same topic. And finally, I also repost the podcast automatically on LinkedIn. So in total, I have 7 pieces of content that I've made out of 1, which is the podcast. And this is something you can apply to any content that you enjoy creating and that you feel comfortable with. As you can see, it is not rocket science. It's just about being smart with your time and energy. Now, if you choose to delegate, which is my case, I delegate the writing part of my captions for Instagram and TikToks. I also have a virtual assistant who helps me repurposing the video as short clips for TikTok and Instagram. This will help you focusing on finding the topics for your long form content. That way I can focus on audience building and finding the topics for my podcast and other videos. Because videos are the one thing you cannot completely delegate because you have to be on camera. But if you are not ready to delegate yet, do not worry, because I used to do this by myself for over a year before I finally decided to delegate. And so you may want to try this process for yourself first so that you will be able to train somebody else to do it, which is what I did. I first learned how to do that by myself, found the different softwares that makes my life easier when it comes to creating content, and find my own process before I decided to hire and then train somebody to do it. And I have a bonus tip for you, which is to work with themes. So basically, I have 1 theme every month that I decide to talk about across all my social media platforms. For example, this month is all about creating content to build an audience of qualified potential clients. Once I have my monthly theme, I divide it into 4 subtopics, 1 for every week, and I address these subtopics in my podcast. So as we said before, with 1 podcast, I have in total 7 pieces of content, meaning that for 1 month, I can have 28 pieces of content. And I'm not even counting the fact that my podcast is a video and an audio podcast, meaning that it is available on the main podcasting platforms and on YouTube as well. So that's pretty much it for my strategy that I use to repurpose my content and create 7 pieces of content out of 1. This is also the strategy that I use for my clients who have a specific expertise, and so we just create content around this expertise to build some brand awareness and target the right audience which needs their services. If you need help creating your own framework and content repurposing strategy, feel free to visit my website and request a free strategic call with me, and you will get away with the number 1 thing that you can change right now to improve your content strategy on social media. So if you want to have a little chat with me, I have limited spot. I will put the link in the description. That's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, make sure to like and comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I will see you in the next one. Happy content creation. Bye bye.